Over 400 people gathered right in here to have breakfast in the tennis building at Ole Miss. Why? For the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Former Ole Miss football great Katie Hill was one of those athletes. I had the pleasure of sitting down with him to hear his inspiring story.
You wouldn't be able to know what I've gone through because of God's grace, goodness, and favor over my life.
Hill was the keynote speaker for the FCA Spring Breakfast. He wanted to share his story of perseverance, positivity, and faith. Before July 21st, 2023, Hill was known for his work on the football field. He had 21 tackles and 2 tackles for a loss his senior year at Ole Miss. Hill's sights were set on professional football. But that day in July, something happened.
July 21st, I had an accident at 4:40 a.m. that didn't change my life for the worse, but for the better.
The car crash left him trapped in his truck for 5 hours, in need of 2 blood transfusions on the scene, and required the amputation of his left leg. The recovery, he says.
It was easy. Many people ask me, were you negative? I wasn't negative, because if you're negative, that's who you're going to become.
Hill told me it was important to stay positive from the very beginning.
I just knew my leg was bleeding heavily and that it was smashed. Thought I was just going to have surgery. I broke in my leg, but the moment they told me when they had to amputate my leg, I said, let's do it. Not once did my faith waver, because I knew that if I had made it that far, being trapped in the truck, having 2 blood transfusions on the scene, I knew God wasn't done with me yet.
He wasn't finished. Hill says this gave him purpose in life, to inspire people through public speaking. He told me talking in front of large crowds was something he started doing in middle school.
I always knew I had a passion for this, but I didn't know it was going to happen at this early of my age. I thought I was going to go to the NFL. God got me there, but I didn't stay there. But God said, hey, I got a story for you to tell.
I asked Hill what advice he would give people. He said to dive into scripture and remember the story of Job.
Most importantly, Job, he lost it all, and not once did he curse God. So that's how you have to live your life. Adversity is not meant to harm you, but it's meant to show you things that you never knew you had inside of you.
What does Hill have planned next? Continuing to shine his light for others, especially his 1-year-old son. Hill is also writing a book and starting a nonprofit. He wants to help underprivileged kids, single mothers, and the homeless. Reporting in Oxford, Sammy Roebuck, WTVA 9 News.